So we've been living in Playa del Carmen for several months now, and we couldn't help but notice everywhere on Fifth Avenue advertising condos being built or for sale that are quite affordable, compared to prices in US, Canada, and Australia. Yet when you go online and look for rentals, they aren't exactly cheap. So that got us thinking, is this a good place to invest, or is there something we're missing? Before we get into it, guys, if you're planning on traveling to Mexico or anywhere in the world, you are going to need travel insurance. We've been using Safety Wing since the day we left Australia back in 2021. And thank God we did, because 2 weeks into our trip, we both contracted dengue fever and we were bedridden for about 2 weeks. We had to have a nurse come to our room and give us IV drips every day. Our bill was actually up in the thousands, and it's actually pretty hard to not get stressed out when that bill starts climbing up. Thankfully, Safety Wing took care of everything. The process was really simple. We just kept all of our receipts and uploaded them to our claims file, and within 30 days we were fully refunded. Since then, we have not gone a day without being covered by Safety Wing. Whether you're a digital nomad like us or just traveling for a period of time, Safety Wing Nomad Insurance has an option for you starting from just $42 a month. You can sign up for Nomad Insurance before you depart or at any part in your journey. You can also subscribe to continuous coverage and travel to multiple countries with one policy. Also, after 90 days abroad, you're covered for brief visits back home for up to 30 days. 15 days for US residents. So if you're planning on hitting the road or traveling abroad anytime in the near future, consider using Safety Wing. We will leave the link in the description for you. All right, now into the video.
According to recent studies, the Riviera Maya and Playa del Carmen in particular is one of Latin America's fastest growing communities. According to the National Travel and Tourism Office of the United States, Mexico is by far the most popular travel destination for US citizens, with almost 40 million residents visiting the country each year. So the main international airport for Playa del Carmen and this whole area is Cancun International Airport, which is around 70 kilometers away from us. This airport ranks 10th in terms of international passengers worldwide and is the second busiest airport in Mexico behind Mexico City. The Riviera Maya area is known for its white sand beaches, blue turquoise waters, coral reefs, and surrounding rainforests.
Playa del Carmen's downtown area revolves around Quinta Avenida, a busy pedestrian thoroughfare lined with shops, clubs, and restaurants. The weather is hot year-round, with the summer and winter breaks being peak seasons for tourism.
It is especially busy here during November till March, which is like when everybody from the northern states of the US come down because it's so cold back home. And especially over Christmas and New Year's, it gets really busy here. So I recently sat down with a local real estate developer named Adrian, who told me that investing in this area isn't just about tourism. Because there are a lot of hospitals and universities in the area, Adrian explained to me that many of the developments will end up being filled with long-term renters such as students, nurses, and doctors who relocate to the area from northern states.
University Road. If you go like 100 meters away, you will have some universities, and you will see that right now Playa del Carmen and Cancun are becoming a hub for studying, because it's much cheaper than going into the US or going to Canada, and it's cheaper than going to another city here in Mexico, especially for master degree and special studies. Cancun and Quintana Roo, which is the state where we are right now, are stronger because of tourism, but as Dubai and other famous cities, you start with one resource and you end up diversifying. In this case, they are diversifying with offices here. We'll have some offices and some commercial spaces also around the project, and a hospital. In this case, we will have a hospital here and also a university. Right now, projects are being developed with a hotel, with the university, with a hospital, because that's why people come here. That's why people come to Mexico. That's why people come to Mayan Riviera. They don't just go to the beach, they also want services. They also want to be tranquil.
Adrian and his company are working on a development in the area called Naomi, which is a combination of retail and residential properties. There will also be a hotel adjacent to the apartment buildings, which will help provide services to the apartments. By the way, we're not affiliated with Adrian's company at all. He was just good enough to sit down with us because we wanted to speak to a local developer to better understand the industry. Prices for condos and apartments in Playa del Carmen are mostly reflected in US dollars. That's because they're targeting US and Canadian residents. You can find studio apartments here that are as low as 150,000 US dollars that are within walking distance to the beach. We had the opportunity to have a look at one of our favorite residential buildings in Playa del Carmen to see how much bang you actually get for your buck.
What the colors are there?
It's really nice. Wow.
Wow. Is it only US citizens and Canadians who can buy here, or?
Yeah, actually everyone can buy here, but there is a law, a Mexican law, that you cannot buy 50 kilometers from the border to the inside of the country,
Yeah.
in the borders and in the oceans.
And the ocean, yeah?
You can buy, but the only thing is that you have to have a trust fund with a bank.
Yeah.
This will be like your partner. Everything is going to be under your name, but you're gonna have to have this partner per se, which is the bank.
The bank is the partner.
Yeah.
Is it easy to do?
Yeah, it is. It's only 2,500 to open the trust fund the first time, and then after that you have to pay $500 every month. 700 square feet. You have 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. This one is a lock-off unit, which means that you have an independent access. So for business, this one is really good because you can just
So you can
from
rent
the
out
inside, you can rent
just
this one
the one.
alone or the other one.
So from what we've been told by local real estate agents here in Playa del Carmen, there's not many restrictions on vacation rentals at all. Vacation homes in Cancun average about 58% occupancy rate, while Cozumel has around about 57% rate. The rest of the Riviera Maya, including Playa del Carmen, sat at about 53% occupancy rate last year. So considering that apartments are rented out for about between $100 and $300 per night, that seems like a pretty good return on investment to me.
So good. There's also plans to build a new airport in Tulum, which will increase the amount of people that are in the area. It'll also cut down travel time for people coming from European countries, considering they have to deal with a lot more immigration. And I just learned of the new train system called the Maya train. It's already being constructed and is due to open in the next couple of years. The high-speed train will connect popular sites across the Yucatan and Riviera Maya, which will see an estimated 8,000 daily riders.
So to help us actually get a better understanding of what it's like to invest here in Mexico, we wanted to speak to somebody who's actually done it themselves. So we got on the phone with our friend Otis from Houston, who recently purchased his own property here in Tulum. Was it hard to get into the investment property in Mexico, or was it pretty easy?
It was no harder than it would be in the United States. So the good thing is that our realtor pretty much kind of he has all the contacts of the different things that you have to set up. Like basically, we had to start a company in Mexico. You have to have a bank account in Mexico. They wanted like passports for everything to make sure you're not doing anything like like funneling money or anything weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our own personal tax accountant. He hooked all of that up. We've got a lawyer. He hooked all of that up. And then you'll find that being that if you're outside of Mexico, there's really only like 3 banks in Mexico that will do business with you.
Okay.
So as far as having a bank account, there's really only like 3 places you can do it. It's not that expensive to set everything up, including paying for like your tax people, all of that stuff. You're maybe gonna spend about $2,500
Oh wow.
to set everything up that
Yeah.
you need.
Okay. And then do they need you to have collateral like back in the home country, like a house or?
No, absolutely not. They don't even care.
Really?
They don't even care. But they have just recently started, and actually our bank contacted us, and they have just recently since the first of this year, if you are an American or a Canadian citizen, you can now get a loan. They're doing loans on houses now, on properties. So the property has to be above $250,000.
Yep.
And it's a fixed interest rate, and it goes up to 25 years on the mortgage, and the interest rates are between 7 and 9%.
You obviously bought it as an investment property to use for short-term rentals.
You got it.
And then you probably, I'm guessing, use it yourself when you want to come on a holiday or whatever.
I have not even been able. I've never even stayed in my own property.
Yeah, right.
Because every time I've come into Tulum, it's booked.
So it's obviously booked out all the time. Then you get pretty steady bookings with it.
But yeah, our occupancy rate since having a place, we've never had a month under 70%.
Oh wow.
Well, it's all about location, right? Like I'll say Tulum, for instance. You gotta really pay attention to Tulum. Tulum is one of those that I'm noticing. It's one of those cities that if you have fairly good access to the beach, you'll do pretty well. I'm noticing if you have like a studio in Tulum, you're not gonna make the greatest money on it because there's so many of them. They're saying that they're having to rent their studios for like $45 and $50 a night.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing like that when we're 150 up every single night.
Yeah.
So it's if you're going to invest, I would say don't do studio in Tulum. It would have to be 1 bedroom and up.
So you'd consider it a successful investment then, I guess?
Very, very successful.
Yeah.
If I had to complain about anything, they're still building out like the second and third section. So stuff like getting your electric bill for your place, your water bill for your place, it doesn't get sent straight to me. They still send it to the builder, and they send it there, and the builder forgets to give it to my house manager or doesn't send it to me. Just kind of little stuff like that you kind of gotta work out and get it taken care of.
From what I can see, just the difference between the price of these condos that I've seen and even houses, and then the rate to rent them per night, it seems to me like it's a no-brainer. Like you would make your money back pretty quickly. But
yeah.
So look, obviously we are not real estate experts by any means. The closest thing that we've got to buying property is buying our 1975 combi van.
Yep.
But after speaking to Otis, I feel like we are definitely on the right path of thinking this was a great place to invest, especially if you're from the US or Canada.
Yeah, it seems like it's very easy to get finance down here, and if you're looking at return on investment, I mean, considering you can buy a property for anywhere between $150,000 to $300,000, and Otis was saying that he had a 70% occupancy rate at minimum, I think it's pretty good. I think we just have to start saving some money so we can actually be in a position to invest here.
Yes. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think? Is it worth investing in Mexico? Have you invested already? Let us know down below. And as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.